Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Aquatic Morning Show. I got kind of changed around my saying a little bit.
Darn it.
So it just says now where you go to get your daily dose of aquatic news and entertainment.
That sounds like more of a tongue twister, apparently.
Where you go to get your daily dose of aquatic news and entertainment. That's different. I mean, it's same. Where the aquarists go to be in the know at the Aquatic Morning Show.
Well, good morning.
Good morning, Papa Shrimp. Jerry, good morning. Thanks for being here with me.
Of course.
And Steven said he'll join us in about 30 minutes or less. Cool.
Awesome.
Skipper is supposed to be here this morning, too. I had sent him the thing to be able to push buttons. But, yeah, he must not be awake yet. He's falling down on a skipper job.
Skipper.
Well, let's say good mornings. Everybody's filling in this morning a little slowly, but that's okie doke. Bunny Viper, good morning. Mystery Snow Guardian, Sharpie. And Rising Sun Aquatics.
Mm-hmm.
Master Fish Gal, Miss Lori. And Steven P 2003. Blake. Good morning, Blake. Or good night, Blake.
Good night.
Ben Backstrom. Good morning. Ben Backstorm. Well, we've got some things to talk about, including what's in this box and what might need to be in this box. But I want to wait just a little bit longer and let some more people fill in this morning. So as we're rambling on this morning, I want to say that thank you, Miss Dee Dee and Kenny and Eduardo for helping me out on Tuesday when I was out with my massive pounding headache. I really appreciate you guys. And that's why I call it the crew, because it takes more than just me to run this show on a daily basis every week.
Well, and I only do it once a week.
Yeah.
And last week I did not stream.
Yeah.
And it was basically because I was in a funk and I wasn't really in the mood to stream. So it was pretty interesting not streaming. And then all the comments that I got, or phone calls or texts, or you okay?
I text.
All right. So that was kind of cool, but I couldn't imagine doing it every single day. I mean, it's hard enough just being part of the crew, and every single day I wake up late and I'm like, oops, oh well, I'm not going to be on this morning.
And I have overslept once or twice.
Yeah.
But, you know, I have the crew to help me out with that as well. And, you know, I'm definitely blessed to be in that situation. So I'm glad that I have built it in a way that we can all be here and it be here for everyone. So
yeah.
Mexicali Fish Keeper, good morning. Joseph Stanley, good morning. And Nano, did I say? Yep, Nano Aquarium Guy.
Joseph fell asleep listening last night.
Well,
no date night, so he took a nap night.
Hey, that's not a bad thing.
Right?
Lady Warshak, good morning, everyone. Just wanted to stop by and say hello. It's a busy morning. Hope everyone has a great day, and we hope you have a great morning and day as well. Hopefully it slows down a little bit for you.
Oh no, Brooklyn's aquascaping her house.
Oh no. Girl. What part are you working on first?
All of it.
Like, because I know that list of yours, and I don't know how you would pick where to
Oh,
start.
Brookley. I like giving Brookley a hard time, but
Oh
if
yeah.
it's anything like with her aquarium, she's gonna set it up and then be like, "No, I got to do it all over again."
Yeah,
12 times.
well, also knowing Brooklyn, she's done listened to every YouTube video there is out there on how to do it and how to do it right. And then there's going to be the Brooklyn way to do it. Kind of like there's the just way to do it. They did have date night, but it was after date night on the replay.
Okay. Captain Replay.
I'm allergic while I'm getting some medicine and coffee and stuff, so ignore chat. What? Hey,
Yeah,
no,
I
I'm
don't know.
allergic. What you allergic to? Sky Dancer, good morning.
I think it's the fact that he's going to turn a next year, or
Older?
he's going to hit another age level next month in August. So he's freaking out about being old.
And what is he hitting the big 4-0 or something? I mean,
No, he's probably like the big 2-9 or something.
I actually don't know how old Joseph is. I don't know
He's
how
not
old
that
Justin
old.
is.
Neither am I. I'm not that old either.
Me neither.
Don't tell anybody.
Mm-mm. I'm 29 and holding.
I'm 33. Celebrating my 19th anniversary of my 33rd birthday this August.
That sounded good. At least it makes you stop and try to do math. Thunder Aquatics, good morning. Good to see you. We're getting up there. It's rising. It's a rising. I am still very surprised that Skipper is not here.
My mom was 27 until she died,
Yeah, I remember my mom at 29, period. Like, and that's just the age I keep her at. I don't know. Not her. She didn't choose that. It's just in my brain. That's just.
My son used to call her out on that. You can't be 27, Tita. And he'd do the math and he'd be like, you're 75.
Oh, look, here we go. Okay, I had to walk over here too and say, yes, y'all know my ADHD self has been bouncing from room to room, but today I am decluttering my pantry, laundry room first, then decluttering my closet. Well, what are you going to do with the clutter?
It says it down there in her next comment.
Oh, okay, here we go. Because I am moving the kids' closet items into my closet because I am about to demo their closets for renovations. So 80% of my items need to go. Well, what happened to finishing the walls and the floors and everything else?
See, that's 3 different things now that it's in this list. She's working on the kids' closet and decluttering the pantry laundry room first so she can declutter her closet.
Uh-huh.
So where does the kids' closet come into play with all of this? Brooklyn.
Right.
Good thing you have a list.
Just take it out, take their stuff out, pile it in the middle of the room, do whatever you got to do with the closet and put it back. Bins, Brooklyn, you got bins. Just throw them in the bins.
As long as you're thinking about where you're going to put more aquariums, then it's okay.
That's what matters. That's right.
Yep.
This salty dragon. Good morning. Good to see you this morning.
Joe stands
Greg,
42.
42. How old am I? Hey, so am I.
Youngsters. Oh, to be young again.
I am donating stuff that can be donated and trashing everything else.
Oh, look. 3G's already asking. Let's rehash the corner box deal.
Hey, how do you know why he's on here? Greg, you know me. You know me. No, me and Greg were on the phone last night talking about that, actually. He called me and said, hey, did you hear what Jerry was talking about? And I'm like, well, sort of, kind of, not really. I said, I was there in the beginning. and I left it running, but I was not listening. I was loading my aunt's house plants, and patio plants into my truck. Me and Landon were, because all of a sudden my sister got the date to go down to MD Anderson in Houston, and they had to leave at 5:00 this morning. And so they found this out yesterday morning, and they wanted her there by noon today. So I had to run over there last night and do that. So all of that was going on at the same time. But Greg called me, and then I called him back, and it was after the show had ended. And he was like, "Did you hear what he was talking about?" So I said, "No, inform me." And so, well, you're going to have to go back and listen, because I don't know if I'm going to explain it all the right way, but this is what it all kind of went around. And so he had given me, I think 4 or 5 of these. And with the 10-gallon tanks that he gave me that we swapped for. And so it just so happened that I had this in my hand. And I was like, you know what? Get on the phone. Hey, Jerry, let's talk more about what you were talking about last night.
Right.
So we are going to do that. Thank you for telling me last night, Greg. Okay, back to lurking. I'm listening on my Bluetooth speaker. Love y'all. Love you too, Brooklyn. We'll try not to stall you too much. Grant and Shelby, the Garden of Eder. Good morning, y'all. Mike's Aquatics and Things. As I was running my mouth, I hope I didn't miss anybody. I don't think I did. We must have a few people lurking. Just lurking. So, before we go into this, we did make the decision not to go to the Triple Crown. Yeah.
Tough one.
Very, very tough one. Speaking of it was so tough that I had already made the decision not to go. And then Joe calls me yesterday evening and says, okay, look, I don't know if we can do both, but if the one in Kentucky is only going to be like, this is the 50th anniversary, this is really important, you're not going to be able to get to do this one in the river again, let's go to that one. Which would be more money, more time off, a lot of things that we don't have, really. And I was like, boy, you are making this hard. I said, look, as much as I appreciate it, I've already sent Rico the email 2 days ago, giving him back the ticket. And I said, I'm not going to go back and say, hey, can I have it back? I'm not going to do that. And I said, Aquashella Dallas is the next weekend. I said, so it's not like I'm missing out. I will get to meet everybody eventually. And there's always something else around the corner.
The only thing is like I said,
Crown, but I might be able to end up making it to Oktoberfest or the Clash, or So instead of trying to kill ourselves trying to make it to Kentucky, we decided to just go to Aquashella, which is a no-brainer. I mean, we were going to be there regardless, and
awesome, Daniken,
and go from there.
Yeah, I totally get it. I really think there's going to be more people at Triple Crown.
I do too.
I'd have the opportunity to meet that probably won't be at Aquashella because they went to Triple Crown.
Right.
So that kind of, it bothers me a little bit, but at the same time, it's just, I got to do what's best for everything. And like me and Jason talked about, we're still we got 4 weeks left before Aquashella, and we're already behind.
Yeah.
So to try to imagine fitting in a trip to Triple Crown, we would have done very poorly at Aquashella. So I'd rather have a good showing at where I know we already have booths set up.
Yes. Yeah. And a lot of people that are going to be at the Triple Crown are also going to be at the Clash. So, and then there's also Aquashella Chicago. So, like I said, there's always going to be something bigger and better around the corner. So, even though I'll just have to hit all of those clubs individually, unless this, and I really think they should make this more of a thing anyway, but they might not. It may just be this year. All right, now Kenny, what do you got going on?
He's got some breeding L274s. Is that what he said?
Okay, which one is the 274?
I'm not sure.
Okay, let me figure it out.
Because I was running through my memory banks trying to figure out which one that was.
The Phantom?
Oh, it's 236. It's 236 that he's got.
236. Red line, hyphen citrus. Okay. It looks like a zebra.
Good morning, DOS Aquatics.
All right, here we go. Wait, who did you say? Who's here?
DOS Aquatics.
DOS. Okay, DOS. Good morning, DOS. Dee Dee. Hey, Dee Dee.
That's beautiful fish.
Thunder Aquatics. How different are those from the L333s?
The tiger plecos, the king tigers?
Yeah, the king tiger, yeah. The white is whiter.
They look a little bit different because the tigers aren't as striped. The stripes are a little bit thicker and fuzzier. This is more pronounced, defined, and tighter pattern than what the Tiger King.
I think they're whiter too.
Yeah, they look a little bit whiter. Might be the picture, but
the king, I don't know. The king tiger, which is the one I've got, it okay, here we go. Here's some of them. So 173, the L450, the 260,
$471s. I need some friends for my 471. He's lonely.
I want your 471. I want some 471s.
Jason saw it in the aquarium yesterday, and he was like, "Where did that come from?" And I was like, "That's mine, remember?" And he was like, "Oh, yeah."
I kind of think that thing is cute. The red lizard whiptail catfish.
Yeah, they're strange looking, but to me, it looks like they're underfed because their body's so slim.
I mean, I've never seen one in real life, but what's even better is that thing that Brooklyn and Dee Dee have. That thing is cool.
Oh, LOL. The only problem is we need to pay attention because they are in the same tank as the 12 Ultimate Angels. Hey, wow, that's right. There's Dr. Anthony. Haven't seen you in a while.
Hey, Doc. Can't say I didn't send you a link. You have the red one. It's cool. cool, Dee Dee. Atomic injections. Good morning.
Hey, we got 36
Triple Crown will be the
people in
event
here.
of the decade. Well, oh well. I can't make it. But Holly, hey Holly. I mean, unless there was to be money just flow in, from somewhere unknown right now. And we wouldn't be able to be up there all week either.
For me, if I did all of a sudden have a nice little
nest egg
or money,
yeah,
it would probably be used towards making sure I got into a house.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, trust me, it's not that it's a really beautiful place we're staying at. So I have no issues. I'm just walking distance from where I used to be living. Okay. So I'm still in the same community, but again, I'm in the same community, so I'm still 60 miles away from.
I was going to say, I thought you wanted to be in town.
Last week kicked my butt. Like I said, I went Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Every day I went into the shop. That's 132 miles round trip every day. So I put close to 700 miles on my vehicle in a week just going to the shop. And because of gas prices, it just wiped me out. I mean, just gone. My money's gone.
I know.
And then, it's like, well, I can't do anything else but drive.
Yeah.
At this rate. But like I said, it'll all work out. Everything will work out. As long as I got my shrimp, I'm happy. It's true.
Round till half moon. Good morning. I did like you. I had to go up on my mowing. The one place that I still mow. Well, I take care of everything, the landscape and the mow and everything. And it's a commercial property, but I was supposed to let them know last week before I mowed this time, but I forgot. And so I had to let her know on this invoice that I was going to have to be going up $40 because of the gas prices just eating me up. And, I'm not doing it for free. So when gas prices go back down, I'll go back down, but I've got to add, and I don't want to call it a gas charge. I don't call it anything.
Right, a surcharge for gas.
Yeah, I don't want to call it that because that sucks. Because every time you look at a bill and you have that service fee on there, you're like,
trip fees.
Yeah. Yeah. So I did let her know on that invoice that I sent last night that next week I'll have to go up, but
Thank you, Crown Tail.
Meanwhile, at the Justice League, what the heck are you talking about?
He's probably like waiting. He's over there tapping his fingers. Okay, Jess, when are we going to talk about this?
This? Are you talking about this? When are we going to talk about this?
Mm-hmm. I'm so glad you have one.
I've got 5, I think.
It's like I said, I was doing a whole thing where I was doing some video because I wanted to actually test it out and see if I could get some technical information to share. But in the sudden teardown of my fish room and then packing everything away, I've got some of those somewhere in storage.
I really like them. I have mostly sponge filters, but the last little ones that I've bought have been smaller than this. They're little round. Well, I've got one in this tank right here. Let's see if I can get it out. Yep. Ooh, it's gonna be dirty. It's full of duckweed, but can you see it?
Yeah, that's the Lee's version, right?
I don't know. It's tiny though. It's a little
And it's
bit.
corner box with the little
No, this
90
one's
degree.
round. This one's round.
Oh, this one's round. Okay.
Needs cleaned. It's dirty. Um,
You know, that's all of this stuff. It's funny. It makes me laugh because it's old school technology that we had when we were kids.
that's
That,
coming back in.
yeah, it's coming back out because
It
kind
worked apparently, right?
well, it works. It's efficient. You can use it off of air versus electricity. And I think that everything that we're trying to accomplish with canister filters and with hang on back filters or no filtration at all is kind of giving us ideas that really you don't need what we don't need the stuff that we used to think we needed to have an aquarium. And some of
Right.
this old technology stuff that it works. It works just as effectively and it's kind of almost more convenient.
Yeah. It leaves a lot more tank space.
Yeah. I mean, they don't look very good. They're kind of unsightly, but so is everything else that
So
you
is
put in your
everything
aquarium.
else. Yeah.
You know, everything else you put in your aquarium, it's like, I got to hide that with plants and rocks so I don't see it. And then you
Right.
do that, and then you're like, oh, now I can't clean my aquarium because everything's compacted in there too much.
Yeah. And when you go to pull it out, everything just current till half moon. Prehistoric box filters, just hashtag double call, double call, double call. So the reason, though, there is a reason behind this. So last night on Sherry's stream, Papa Shrimp stream, that he does at 7 o'clock on Wednesday evenings at Central Standard Time for all of you in other time zones. Got to talking about putting substrate in this thing. And when Greg called me and told me that, I was like, what the?
Beep.
Yeah. What the heck? Why would you do that? Like
Papa
I was
Shrimp
just,
is crazy.
yeah, I mean, he done lost it, man. This heat has got to his head. I need to call and talk to him on the phone. We just got to fix this man. Well, once you think about it and think about it and think about it, it does make sense. So, but I'm going to leave it to you. I'm going to let you explain it.
Okay. In the shrimping hobby, there is an undergravel filtration system. I think mainly started in Asia, and that's why they tend to call it the Asian underground filter method. And what they do is there's very different ways to set it up. When I first started seeing it, what people would do is separate their tanks with a piece of glass, probably about 4 to 6 inches tall, and they put it in at the back quadrant of the aquarium. And then they put an undergravel filter in there. They cut it to size, put it in there, and fill it with media and substrate. And then on the other half of the tank, very little substrate, maybe just a few granules, just so that way the shrimp have something to graze through. What this does, in theory, is the water flowing through the substrate kind of acts as a filtration, but more so, it helps the buffering capacity of the substrate because the water's flowing through and around the substrate. Now, yeah, there you go. Now, what that'll do is it helps keep the substrate working for you instead of just substrate on the bottom of the tank that's trying to buffer your water. It's kind of, it's what do you call it? There's no flow to it through the substrate. So they have these undergravel filters, and you can see it in the back of the aquarium back there. What they're starting to do now is make them so that they're convenient to just pull out, clean, and then put back in, or grab one that's already cycled. You can take the box out. So they're trying to get away from the permanent glass divider solution, and now people are making boxes. Well, me and my thinking says you can do that same thing with what Jess is holding in her hand and use one of those box filters. And instead of putting media and carbon or ceramic rings, you put the actual fluval substrate, and then when it's working, the water is flowing through the substrate, helping the buffering capacity. So that's in theory what I'm trying to get more definitive information on to share it with people, because it's hard to find a 5x5 or 6x6 box that'll fit in your aquarium. So people are having to make them. And if you make them out of glass, that's cool, but it's kind of heavy. And when you put substrate and water in it, then it becomes heavier. So the convenience of being able to pull it out and change it, it kind of, for me, it's not as convenient doing it that way. It's very inconvenient to have to build a box for every single aquarium and have to make it fit the size of the ISTA under gravel filters, which is what he has right there. You can find those on Amazon, and I have an affiliate link for the ISTA underground filters, because it comes with 2 halves. And if you take the other half off, then you have the perfect size to fit in a 6x6 box.
Yeah.
But that's basically where, because this is, I've been seeing it more and more, that more shrimp keepers and breeders are using this style of under gravel filtration. Again, I'm trying to keep it shrimple and use what I have available to me that's cheap. And these little boxes are perfect for it. They're already plumbed for it. It has a little compartment in it. The only thing that I think it needs to be done is to add maybe, and you don't have to do it, add the filter pad. Those are pretty.
Yeah, what are those anyway?
Those are the crazy blues or extreme blue bolts.
Oh, they don't. They look like they don't. Those are some really pretty blue bolts.
Mm-hmm.
Got a lot. I don't know who this is, but they've got a bunch of really pretty shrimp. Or they take really good video.
Now, I've tried it in 3 different box filter systems. There's one called Box Tech that is, I was trying to do a video and I was doing some testing on it. But what it is, it looks like it's one of those fluidizer filters, but it looks like a double sponge filter because it has compartments on either side and the fluidizer chamber in the center. So it's kind of like a double sponge filter, but it's
is it a hang on bag?
Box Tech.
Uh-huh.
And so imagine both sides being clear compartments that water flows through, and then there's a center chamber where the little floaty things for the fluidizer happens, and then it comes out of the spout on the top. And what I did was I took one of those cheap filter floss pouches, put substrate inside it, put it in the chamber on the side. So I had both chambers on the sides full of substrate. I don't know if it worked or not because I was cycling my tank, and then I never really got a chance before I tore it down.
Hold on. Is that it?
Yes. That's it right there.
And so you put what in it?
In those chambers on the sides, I put one of those pouches, those filter pouches that you use on the hang-on backs.
Yeah.
And I filled it with substrate so the substrate wouldn't fall out of the holes.
Okay.
And then I rolled it up like a little, and it's a perfect size. I rolled it up like a little burrito and put it in the chamber and put one on each end.
Now what's in the middle there?
That's the fluidizing chamber. It's where, just like the fluidizers that have the little plastic media floating in it. You know, like the ones Corey used to, or still sells, I think, the fluidizer.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I know. The little balls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, I tried this one out. I also have one from Lee's, but it comes with the ceramic rings and the little filter pad and everything. And then, of course, I had these at the shop, like what you have.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like I said, I'm just trying to come up with a hack, like 3G was saying, to I find this stuff on Amazon. You know, that's what's really cool is I go through.
The Lee's is the corner one, right?
Yes.
That's this one right here.
Yes.
Okay.
And like the ones that I got, it already comes with the little cutout filter pad, the ceramic rings, and a 90-degree spout. So it's not just shooting the bubbles straight up. That was a butt mod.
Well, that one doesn't
Again,
have
the concept here is the undergravel filtration system is not as much of a filter as it is more, I guess,
Steven!
Morning.
what's the word? It's not really flow through. I mean, that's what you're looking for more. So I see a lot of the, especially here in the US, a lot of the breeders will have both. They'll have an undergravel filter and they will have a sponge filter. So that way they get a little bit of mechanical and a little bit of biofiltration going on. But the main purpose of the substrate isn't to do the filtering. It's so that way the water's flowing through it and helps buffer the water. You just get the added benefit that it'll work as a filtration too.
Well, can you start over? I had to have y'all on mute because I had a meeting. Sounds like it was a productive discussion, though. I'll have to go back and listen.
So, I mean, in a roundabout, he's talking about putting
Substrate.
soil, substrate in like one of these.
A little box filter.
Yeah. And making it like an underground filter so that it pulls through the substrate in either like a bare bottom tank or a tank that has very little substrate in it. Supposed to be the thing the Asians are doing over there for their shrimp tanks.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and I think, like I said, I think the logic is that when you have substrate in your tank, and maybe it's this deep because you're putting plants in it, then the water is just staying on top.
Right.
Okay. And so all of the nutrients and everything that they have put into this substrate isn't really being utilized effectively because the water isn't flowing through it. Whereas in an undergravel filtration system, you have the water flowing through it, so it helps all of that substrate is exposed to the water. So all of that substrate is working for you instead of just the top layer or whatever's exposed to the aquarium.
Okay. In terms of like using the substrate as just housing for beneficial bacteria?
For beneficial bacteria and for the buffering capacity, especially in shrimp tanks.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Because like if I use like an aqua soil and I sand cap it, I don't get the same reduction in pH like I would if I just had it plain aqua soil. It does it some, but like definitely not to the degree where like I have a shrimp tank with just fluval stratum in there, and I change the water weekly, so like the pH doesn't like plummet, but it would if I just left it there because it's pretty deep.
Right.
And see, I cap everything because I just have the soil in there to plant. So I don't have it in there to change any pH or anything like that. But if you did do that, one, would you put the dirt, the soil in one of those filter media, one of those bags so that it's not going to go everywhere, or will it not with this over the top of it?
Actually, I did two different setups with that exact box. One of them, I cut out a little thin piece. It was a fluval filter pad that I had, and I cut it out and made holes so that it would hold all the substrate in. And then I did another one with no filter floss at all and just substrate. It works just the same, except for the other one. I could notice with the filter floss, I could start to see when it was starting to get clogged or dirtied up. And so that gave me a visual to be able to go, hey, it's time to go ahead and pull that one out. Of course, I didn't have it long enough to get to that point. But again, that's me overcoming my color challenges. And I like things to be right there in front of my face so I can see them. So I do stuff like that, putting a filter pad to give me a visual indicator that I could notice when I'm just walking by my tank versus having to get out the microscope and study and all that stuff.
Yep, it's a good idea.
So by doing that and having the substrate in here, no, and say it was bare bottom and you had the substrate in here and it was pulling through like an underground filter. So then it's going to be like it's not capped. You would be using the soil for the properties that are in the soil instead of me as in capping it and just using it as plants to plant with.
Correct.
Not just for shrimp. That's not a bad idea if you have plants.
Right.
Like,
exactly.
Because if your aqua soil is like, for example, my water has 7 degrees kh, and it's not bad, but like I could grow a heck of a lot more if I had, say, like 3 degrees kh. So if you use your aqua soil to kind of convert some of that kh to CO2, you can't do that if there's no water flow through it. So you add one of those in there, and then suddenly your aqua soil is working for you in that regard as well. So that's not a bad idea. Like, I might look into that for the old plant farm.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was thinking too, because a lot of the plants that I have in my shrimp tanks aren't plants, or they're mosses and stuff like that I don't want to root into the substrate. But having that kind of a system, especially with stratum that is infused with beneficial minerals for the plants and the growth and the nutrients and everything, and then to have that going through a filtration system where those nutrients are flowing around in the water, I think that's a good way to feed my plants without feeding them. Of course, I could be wrong. And then maybe the poop, when it, degrades, maybe that also helps as a fertilizer in those kinds of systems. Or if it, maybe it gets rid of it too fast and it doesn't get to work as a fertilizer. But, that's where you get into the science part.
Yeah, there's that theory. Like if you're over filtering a planted tank, there's a potential that maybe it's not, because plants love nitrogen, whether like they absorb it through like as ammonia or nitrate. I'm pretty sure that plants have to convert the nitrogen, like nitrate, to ammonia in order to actually absorb it. So if they're just like if they're absorbing the ammonia straight up before it gets converted or eaten by nitrifying bacteria, that it's more efficient for them. I haven't had that issue, but just one of those theories.
All right. Well, lots of comments in chat.
Lots of comments.
Check out Plamsky Shrimp Farm.
Yeah, Plamsky's got really cool setup.
Okay. PLAMSKY.
PLAMSKI.
It is. I came out shrimp farm. Maybe.
I'm looking for.
They had the. Okay, hold on. They've got in the corner. Nope, they've got a sponge filter in that one. All right.
Which one is the Zis filters? I've seen their brine. I've seen their egg hatcheries. I haven't seen their filters.
The Zis has just a moving bed filter, I think.
Like the fluidizer?
Yeah.
Okay.
They might make other stuff, but that's just what I remember when I think Zis filter is what I think of.
Yeah, and I've used those Zis filters on my shrimp tanks. They work fine. All of that stuff works fine. Even the one of the local fish stores that I went to see, they had made a bunch of their own with water bottles and had the fluidizers in every single tank. They had over 400 tanks, but they said having those fluidizers really helped them reduce the amount of maintenance they had to do.
I can imagine. And yeah, they're really cheap and easy to make.
Mm-hmm.
Just something air driven that's pulling water through some gravel or whatever, whatever that will kind of flow around.
Ian says that's what I forgot about in my new scape. I used a lot of soil, not enough minerals in my water, and my pH dropped fast. Couldn't figure out why my plants were dying. Added some crushed coral into the filter. The melting is stopped and the pH is staying stable.
Yep. Ian's got that magic water, that RO out the tap water.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So he needs to add GH and KH. So crushed coral is the easiest thing to do, I think.
Does this
and that's something that I've been doing, like at the shop, where I have all these planted tanks that are just planted tanks. So as I change the water or do anything maintenance wise on those tanks, I'll always go back and add in some remineralizer, just like if it was a shrimp tank. And I know it may be weird, but I know the plants love those minerals.
So that's the Zist egg tumbler.
Yeah, that's the egg tumbler. I have one of those too.
I got one of those too. Although, and I haven't used it yet.
Me neither.
Well, I've tried to use it. The problem is the way that it's shaped. I don't have any way I can put my eggs in it because my eggs are either on something else that will not fit in this, and I can't get the eggs off and put them in here. So, so far it has helped me, but it might do me real good to turn it into a filter.
That's true. Do something with it.
Right? I just, like angels, they lay their eggs on those cones or whatever. I can't fit a cone in that.
Is there no way to take the eggs off? Like I've seen angel eggs on one of my heaters and I just let them eat them because I don't have room for 100 angel fish.
I'm not sure if I'm sure somebody's done it. Like Cory eggs. You can put Cory eggs in here, but again,
you don't even need to tumble Cory eggs though. Like that's the thing.
Just they do me better when I don't tumble them.
Yeah. Just leave them where they are.
Yeah. So far that's what I was going to use it for. And they didn't, I hatched them better without.
Yeah. So Crowntail's saying egg tumblers for pleco or mouth brooding cichlids eggs. I don't know anything about cichlids, but for plecos, if you have a good parent pleco, he'll stay in that cave and hatch them out himself.
Right.
And I definitely have no shortage of plecos. Like,
how would you know that you had pleco eggs to do that with if you couldn't see in there to get past the male? How would you get the male out away from the eggs?
Getting the male out away from the eggs is tricky. If you have the right size cave, he will extend his pectoral fins and lock himself in place. And good luck.
Yeah.
You got to slam that thing against the side of the tank.
Yeah, I can't get him out of anything of mine, that's for sure.
Yeah. Plecos get stuck in terrible place. I had one just the other day. It was stuck in my pre-filter sponge. I had to rip the sponge in half to get him out of there.
Dang. Oh. ABC Aquatic Biostratum Creations. Gina's Reef. Miss Debbie Holding. Let's see. And then
hi, Debbie.
Ian.
And yeah, the first timer plecos might kick out the eggs. They don't know what they're doing.
Jennifer Weaver. Greg's Planted Tanks. Dr. Anthony. I think that was everybody. I don't think I missed anybody. Okay. And of course, Kenny Ian did not say good morning to Kenny Ian. I just started talking to him. So,
I just think it's kind of funny because, like I said, this has been something that I've been working on, and in my head, I'm sitting there going, I'm totally going against the grain of these undergravel filter systems and stuff like that. But again, I'm trying to find hacks and inexpensive ways to accomplish the same thing that something else is doing. So I'm always looking as to why. Why is this a good system, or why doesn't this work? And with these undergravel filters, it's one of those things that if I understand the why and how it's working, then I can find something else to do the same thing, can't I? And these undergravel filters is something that's been around forever. So instead of putting carbon pads, put substrate in it, and it should do the same thing. It should technically feed your aquarium with those nutrients that are infused into the substrate. And then with the buffering capacity, it should really help extend the capacity of that substrate, because it's all entirely getting water flowing around it versus a substrate where it's stacked. And you, like you said, if you cap it, you lose the effectiveness of the buffering capacity. So same thing, if you have a deep substrate, the stuff on the bottom isn't doing anything. And then as a shrimper, you're always told, don't mess with the substrate because it'll create an ammonia spike and all of the nasty stuff will come up from the bottom. So this is a way to circumvent those problems by putting it in a little box and getting water flow all the way around it. It's, to me, like I said, it's just one of those boom, light bulb. Let me try it.
Yeah, and it's cheap. It's not an expensive filtration system. So Crowntail was asking me about the K series media, which is best for the DIY. I don't know. Like, I haven't used those. But the K stuff, that's like the round plastic.
These.
The K. Oh, there's the plastic ones like that. They're supposed to move around a lot faster, but some of them end up like interlocking with each other and then they stop. So I have no experience using any of those. So I have no idea.
I guess I don't understand because I have capped everything. I don't understand the what it is that the shrimp need from the soil
for Caridinas, it's all about the buffering. It's all about it staying at, if you can, and the breeders will tell you, around 6. That's like the golden zone between like 5'8" and 6'2", and that's what they like to keep their shrimp at. Well, most soils don't buffer down that low. Okay, that's why overseas they use a lot of the ADA, the Akadama, all the stuff that, and then they do everything they can to turbocharge that substrate buffering capacity to keep it around 6. So in theory, stratum, since it is more for plants than it is for shrimp, you never consider as much as like somebody like me, the buffering capacity in the stratum. And I never thought about it before when I first started. So I had my neocaridinas and my planet tanks, and it was all stratum. Every tank, stratum, stratum, stratum. It didn't matter. I had neocaridinas. I did not have caridinas, so I didn't worry about it. When I made the leap, then I started trying to figure out the things about buffering and why that's so critical with shrimps. So I started with alder cones. I started with Indian almond leaves, peat mosses, stuff like that would help keep the pH lower, and then started seeing the stuff about the undergravel filtration. So that's the thing about like something like stratum. If you can maximize the buffering capacity, then it becomes a really good substrate to use for Caridina shrimp, which is available to everybody everywhere. We can't get that out of any other substrate, and they don't sell anything else at the box stores.
What would Eco Complete do?
Nothing. It's inert.
Nothing. Yeah, it's an inert. And that's why last night I was saying the new Biostratum that kind of perked my interest because now we have another version of Stratum.
Biostratum.
Yeah, and I think it's supposed to be like eco complete. It's an instant cycle. It's infused with
Oh,
beneficial bacteria. And from the little bit I've used it, of course I mixed it. I didn't use one or the other. I mixed it with regular Stratum. And those tanks were, I mean, they're cycled, they're beautiful. There was no issues at all setting those up.
I
So
wonder
I
how
want to do
long
some
that
more.
bacteria lives in the bag, though.
I don't know. And that's something that I've always wondered. Like, even if you take mulch and you put it in a bag and you ship it to somebody, how long does the bacteria actually survive?
Right. But like I've heard of people buying Eco Complete, which also is infused with beneficial bacteria, supposedly.
Right.
And I haven't had the issue with it, but I've heard people opening up the bag and just smelling death in the bag. Like all the bacteria was just, I mean, I don't know how old the bag has to be for that to happen.
Because I used a lot of it and I never smelled anything bad. But you know, it doesn't have any good oxygen flow going through it, so you would think after some time the water would go stagnant and it would die. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Does it
Even
have
if I
an
get that,
expiration date on it? Maybe
I've never looked.
I haven't looked either. I
But
hadn't
my
thought about it
instant
that far.
cycle is just taking a sponge out of any one
Yeah.
of my 19 tanks and just squeezing all the gravy out of it into
Yeah.
the new tank.
Right, which I do that too. But
Mhm.
See, and that's the other thing. I'm looking at the
now,
questions. I'm looking at the questions and stuff and talking about the different filtration. And like Sharpie says, there's plenty of ammonia available in Stratum, which there is, but it's not near as much as some of the other substrates. And I know this because I've used it a lot. And then Crowntail's asking which medium is best: gravel, lava rock, ceramic, rings, bioballs. Also, when you use for strip substrates, is that aqua soil or blasting sand or ponding soil, gravel? Okay, so yes, when it comes to the ammonia available at Stratum, I think yes, there is a lot, but it's the same concept. If you have it in a box filter with the water flowing around it, I think that ammonia gets dispersed a lot easier than in a deep substrate where the bottom layer it's just sitting there and it's not really allowing for everything to flow up through and out. So it does take a little bit longer to cycle, maybe a month in most cases. In some substrates like ADA, Economic, that stuff, you got to 6 months before you get rid of the ammonia, you know? So that's one thing. As far as the box filter, I'm talking specifically about using substrate and pretty much substrate only in that, not any other kind of media, because my concept isn't to use it as a filter. It's more to use it as a box to house the substrate and get water flowing through all of it, the entire 100% surface area as possible.
but you can still put a sponge or that thing
Well, yeah,
like on top of it.
it's like with anything else. You can hot rod your hang on back filters. You can hot rod this system any different way. There's under gravel filters that they're using in Asia that have ceramic rings. They'll have a layer of substrate. They'll have a layer of filter floss. You know, there's all kinds of different ways that you could do it. For me, again, keep it simple. If I can get away with substrate and substrate only, then I'm a happy man. That's just one thing I have to do.
Choppy said, I meant the ammonia will keep the bacteria alive in the bag.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even think
Eco
about
Complete does have an expiration date on it.
I've never even looked at it. Luckily, I didn't have the issue with it being expired.
But if I smelt something bad, I would be triggered to look at the expiration or look for an expiration,
Right.
I guess.
Yeah, but like I said, the Biostratum is kind of cool. I didn't, I root for Fluval. Okay, I'm one of those weird ones. I'm not anti-Fluval. I kind of root for them, to get their poop together and provide really good stuff because they have the means to do so. So seeing that they had the biostratum, I started thinking maybe since there's no indication on the bag about pH buffering, maybe this one becomes a neo substrate and this one becomes a caridina substrate. And then, of course, me, the way I am, I mix it so that way I get a little bit of both. And in the tanks that I've done it, like I said, I've already done 2 tanks, and within 12 hours, crystal clear water. There's no cloudiness at all. The fish and the shrimp are happy. I just put them straight in. Nothing. I'm like, okay, well, let's see if this stuff really instant cycles. So I put 50 shrimp in, and I put like 20 clown killifish in the other, and they're beautiful.
Nice.
Huh.
And it is finer. It's smaller pebbles. I think, honestly, what I think is they take all of the granules that are too small and they made another version, just like how you can get crackers, but you can also buy the cracker crumbs.
Right.
They sell them in a box.
Nice.
Joseph Stanley's coming in with a 99-cent super sticker.
Oh, wow. I've been talking too much. It's halftime.
It is, but we're going to do this first.
I did not twerk. And I
Did you see last night, Jess, when somebody said, I need an I love shrimp booty twerk?
Yes, I heard that part. Yeah, it was. Thank you, Joseph. Thank you, Justin. And yes, it is time for the mid-morning break. Don't have anything ready yet. I've been listening and learning. I'm trying to. Takes a few times to sink in and understand, though. All right, let's see. We will listen to what we're going here. We've been talking about plecos a lot this morning, too. We'll do Mr. Pleco. That's what we'll do.
And Eakins, I have the UNS Contraslow, and I like it. It's stuff. I got the fine and ultra fine, and I would say stick to the fine.
I like the color of it, too.
All right, you guys.
Colorblind person over here. I like the color.
Mm-hmm. It's darker.
Right back, and we will continue this conversation.
All right.
Mr. Pleco Cat, where the funk you at? Mr. Pleco Cat, funky Pleco Cat. Mr. Pleco. Driftwood Rider, Ultimate Hider, Algae Eater, Good Tank Cleaner, Nocturnal Feeder, Good Breeder, Mr. Pleco Cat, you funky Pleco Cat. Mr. Pleco. Mr. Pleco. Mr. Pleco, where the funk you at? Mr. Pleco, funky Pleco Cat. Tanks on, 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 eating high, eating high, eating high, eating high, Mr. Pleco. Mr. Pleco. Mr. Pleco. Mr. Pleco. Mr. Blanco. Done.
Hi, Fish Fam! Are you struggling to gain new subs or followers? Would professional graphics, captions, and ads help you to sell more products? Perhaps you need a marketing strategy that works for your business that is also cost effective. You're not alone. Millions of businesses across the world struggle with this problem. Good marketing plans, poorly executed, cost businesses billions in lost revenue each year. What is the solution? The Social Media Lady, a digital marketing agency. This team of seasoned marketing professionals works with your small business to plan and deliver a solid blueprint to drive more traffic to your website, YouTube channel, and social media. You can check out our work right here at the Aquatic Morning Show, as we currently provide their social media marketing as well as the majority of their graphic design services. When you decide you're ready to level up, schedule your free consultation at thesocialmedialady.com/fish news.
All right. Well, y'all are back. I'm not quite back yet.
I wanted to leave Steve hanging there.
Uh,
I'm by myself.
well, I left it running and ran to the restroom, come back, and it was playing my sister's thing and playing the
I Am a
Mystery
Snail.
song in the background.
Yeah. I was thinking your sister adopted I Am a Snail as her background music now
Right?
for her
Maybe
ad.
she needs to. I keep telling her I need a new God, I need a new commercial because that one's getting
Good job, Atkins.
annoying. But she is on her way to Houston, so
How's she
fingers
doing?
crossed. MD Anderson, those are good.
Mm.
I'm kind
You
of
can
late.
do it, Debbie. They'll love you back. You just got to love them the right way.
Wait,
You got to
I'm
be a
kinda-
nut like me.
I've never had any issue with neocaradinas for sure, because I just put them in filth and they're happy.
Like I've always told people, and they're neos. Treat them like you would your guppies. Just throw them in a tank.
Yeah.
Just throw them in. It don't matter. Don't worry about it.
Hmm. Good morning, Bex.
Hi, Bex.
bamboo shrimp do well.
Yeah, your cichlids love shrimp, of course.
Mm-hmm. My guppies love shrimplets. The colony, there's still a thriving colony in there. It's just not going to explode in population because guppies
Right.
pick some off every now and then.
Yeah, but you should probably still end up with probably 30% of your each batch. So
Yeah, that's about right. Christmas?
No, I don't. It's supposed to be like some kind of fairy theme or something.
Oh, okay.
My phone ringing.
Hi, Carrie.
Carrie.
Good morning, Carrie.
Alishan. Under stress, many bacteria may go dormant, form spores. They will return to their normal metabolic state once conditions improve. Have not checked whether any aquarium
Denitrifying.
denitrifying bacteria do this. Oh, yeah. I did finish high school.
Was that ever a vocabulary word in high school?
Nope, that wasn't one of mine.
See, I was never a cichlid guy until I got into dwarf cichlids and the shell dwellers and German rams. I love them. They're awesome. They have lots of personality.
One day, I'll get into those. Just it seems like a different world to me. I mean, I've South American cichlids, sure, And I would definitely want to get some Apistos again one day. I got some from a pet store before, and they lived about 6 months. I got to try that again.
Well, it's like the cotopunks that I got into. I was at the fish store. Wasn't there to buy cichlids. I was there to get some plants, and I noticed this tank where they had they had them labeled as dwarf cichlids, but they were white, creamy looking with this really awesome yellow tail. And then I saw them change colors and stripe up. And I was like, that is so cool that they change from basically a white fish into a striped fish with black stripes. So I was like, I want a couple of those. And then they started breeding. And then I fell in love with them and I started doing videos on them because I was like, this is so cool. Look at these fish. And I did research. And
the cotopunks?
The cotopunks, yeah.
That's exactly what got me into rainbows, was the fact that they change color rapidly and they just get fired up for breeding. And then they have the flashing like on the top of their head. It turns bright orange or red and it'll like flash on and off as they're swimming around.
Carrie.
That's cool stuff.
Yeah.
I love punks.
Yeah. And see, I'm working on getting a tank set up just for the cotopunks there at the shop. And Jason keeps asking me, well, what about your cotopunks? And I'm like, they're in that tank over there. I said, do you have any more of my cotopunks left at your house? And he was like, yeah, I got a bunch left. We need to get them to the shop so I can set up a breeding tank.
Hey, Jerry, I lost one of my male
clown
killies. So I'm going to take that female and make a trio. But I still have no babies.
No babies, huh? Are you putting any Bacter AE in your tank at all?
I was not putting any in those tanks because those are established planted tanks.
I would try putting just a little bit of it. That seemed to really get breeding going in my tanks.
Okay.
That's the only thing that I've done different other than,
Yeah, a lot of fish like to see that water just like clouded with edible things. And they're like, there's tiny food.
Feed baby brine shrimp every other day.
Yeah, baby brine shrimp is great for the adults, but the fry cannot eat it. They cannot. Yeah, that's why I started using Bacter AE or First Bites or stuff like that. The really fine powdered foods.
Yeah.
For all of the killies. And then that way the parents know when they're eating it, there's food, plenty of food for fry.
Right.
Okay. Well, I'll start adding some Bacter AE and then.
I've been slacking on my Bacter AE. I used to give it to all of my tanks at least like a couple of times a month.
There's other stuff too. You can use like Turbo 700. That's a really good live bacteria. And I remember a couple of years ago, Priscilla did a video after it was when I went to Flip Aquatics, and I told her this. That's what we feed the shrimp sometimes is Turbo 700. And she was like, really? And she did a video where she showed it, dropping it in, and how the shrimp just immediately start pecking away at that live bacteria.
Now, I've been given because I haven't had any babies in my Neo tanks in a while. And I started putting it in there. There it is. In fact, it's sitting over there by them. I hadn't had any babies in my reds or my blues or my black crystals and PRLs. And so I started adding some of this. So I've got pregnant females, buried females. I just don't see any babies yet.
One of the ways that I incorporated Bacter AE into my keeping is that when I do a water change, I add a little bit of Bacter AE, just like if it was.
But you said you don't mix it.
No.
You just throw it on top.
Mm-hmm. I mean, sometimes if I have a lot of fry and I want to make sure, then yes, I'll mix it in a little container and dissolve it as much as I can and then put it into the tank. But normally, like for all my fish tanks, I just throw it on top because the fish are going to peck away at it anyways. And especially the clown killifish, they eat from the surface anyways.
Right.
So that's why I like it just floating on top, because I like seeing the fish peck at it and seeing the babies too. The babies come out like crazy when I had my babies. So I'm still testing all of this, and I'll know more probably in about a month after I get these nano tanks set up at the shop, because I'm definitely doing some breeding with the killifish, with the clown killifish and the least killifish, and then I'm doing some more, of course, projects with my shrimp.
So are those killifish the type that you gotta have the eggs in peat and dry them out, or kind of?
No.
But there's all kinds of theories out there about using peat moss to soften the water, because clown killifish like their water really, really low TDS, blobbity, blobbity, blobbity. And again, that doesn't work with my keeping it shrimple mentality. So like I told Jason at the shop, because he's tried to breed clown killifish and hasn't been successful. And he was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I keep my TDS at around 50.
Ooh.
That's it. That's all I do.
Dang it.
You know, I keep my TDS super, super, super low for those clown killifish, and they love it.
See, right now, one tank has gone up to 560, and the other tank is at 260. And that's after water changes.
I just do it that way because it's a lot easier for me to control that than it is to add peat moss and add this and add that and try to, you know, manipulate my water. Whereas if I do it this way, it's kind of plug and play.
Yeah, I don't have an RO system. In fact, I'm going to be, once I get Caradinas from you, I just have this bowl, 3-gallon bowl, and a bunch of distilled water jugs.
Yeah, that'll work.
Have the females ever killed the males?
Shrimp? Or
no.
killifish? You know, I don't think so, but I do believe that they will disappear on you if certain situations arise, and I don't know how. I think they may jump out of the tanks or stuff like that, but again, I do things backwards. I do not recommend you do it my way. Maybe a version of, but I don't put any lids on my clown killifish tanks, and that, to me, everybody says that's a no-no.
Living dangerously.
I've got lids on all of my every single one of my killie tanks, because I seen them suckers jump. Not the clown killies, my gardener eyes. The first day I got them suckers, the male jumped out twice out of, like, I had 4 inches of water in a 5-gallon bucket, and that sucker jumped all the way out of that 5-gallon bucket.
Now I know when I'm trying to catch them,
that small fish,
they will jump out of the net.
Yeah,
I've seen them do that. I pull the net, and I'm like, oh look, oh no. But so now when I do them, I pull the net out, I put my hand over the top.
There's my male.
Yeah, rainbows do that too. Yes, Eakins, the Bacter AE is a good supplemental food for autosynclus as well. If you're one of those folks who has trouble keeping autosynclus alive, and like they're the super picky kind that haven't been introduced to like algae wafers and stuff, Bacter AE helped develop a biofilm, and that'll help them a lot.
Hey, good morning, Matt. Terry. Blah, 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 blah. I'm writing this down.
Yeah.
There's my male. Okay. Yeah, I still have male and female in each of these 2 tanks, but my male's gone in my 10-gallon.
Well, I was pretty surprised, because when I started pulling all of the clown killies from the shop into putting them into the nano tanks, of course, I can tell which ones are mine. I know which ones are mine versus his, because mine are a lot smaller, since a lot of them are the fry that I brought over from my house. But now that I have a tank of probably 24 females, a tank of 24 males, and then another couple of tanks with some breeding pairs. I'm really going to try to delve into understanding, because it's one thing for me to be able to do what I did last year and at the beginning of this year and put together a series and watch the entire process. And I was very proud of myself because I had duplicated the process and made it happen twice. But now I'm interested to see if I can do it thrice. And I know that may seem like, oh yeah, no, what? But no, that's pretty big, because I may have just gotten lucky the second time and get them breeding the way that they did. So I want to see if what I learned is actually effective and good information to be able to set up a tank, put a breeding trio or pair in there, and then a couple of weeks later start seeing some fry. That's
So
my
if
goal.
you do it a third time, does it officially become scientific proof?
There you go.
I don't know how many times you have to do it. But
See,
yeah,
then
whatever
it won't
works
be
for
keeping
you.
it shrimpable anymore. It'll be keeping it scientific.
So
Scientifical.
is it better to keep them in pairs and trios instead of having more than one male in a tank?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. I think it is. That's where I've had the best success, is when it's just one male and either one female or two females
In a 10-gallon.
in a 10-gallon.
Man, Berkeley gave me a golden wonder killie, and that guy is mean. I cannot imagine having two of them in the same tank in a small space. I think they would kill each other. Like
Yeah,
that,
I keep
fish wants
all
to
my
kill
guppies
me.
away from those golden wonder killifish, because we noticed at the shop when we put them together, all of the males had ratted tails. They were all tattered and torn up.
I put my Cole wild type male guppies in where that where the golden wonder is, and every time I put one in, he chases it down like he's gonna eat it, and then he's like, "Ah, you're too big." Every time I put my finger in there, he attacks it. Like he's not a nice guy at all. He almost killed the female, which is why Berkeley gave me both, because they were in a small tank and the female was just constantly hiding. Like, oh my God, get this dude away from me. Yeah, and the golden wonder that Bex drew for the her Clash art booth was mine. And yeah, it just has like this grumpy, angry face.
They're menaces.
Yep.
I don't have any of the golden wonder. I've just got the clowns, the Gardner eye, double red, and the blue Galaris. And I've had babies with the Gardner eye and the double reds. And I've got 40 plus eggs with my blue Galaris, but apparently there's nobody else in the world that has hatched these suckers. So I can't talk to somebody. So there's a lot of stuff, a lot of videos, but these videos do not answer my question. Okay. And I need to talk to somebody.
Wait, what is your question? Do you have a specific question?
Yeah. So there are people that hatch them in tanks, and there are people that put them on peat moss and dry them out. If you hatch them in the tank, then why can't you leave them in water and hatch them like you do Gardner eye? Is what does your water need to be? Does it need to be RO, pure RO? What should the TDSs be in it?
Are you going to Triple Crown?
No.
Because that would be the place.
I know. And that was, yep. So I'm back to, they're in RO water, and waiting to see what happens, I guess, until somebody else can help me out.
Well, I'm kind of in the same boat. Like I just got these pearl killies from the wet spot, and they're beautiful. It was like an impulse buy. I didn't realize they were the annuals that you got to spawn in the peat and apparently dry out the eggs, maybe. So I'm about to give that a shot.
Because, like, the other thing is when you go to put water with the peat floats. Then how do you find the fish? Or how do you know that they hatched? That was my next thing.
Like,
But then I was told to put the peat in one of the bags, those liner bags, and put the eggs on top. Keep the moss or keep the peat wet or damp because you don't want the eggs to completely dry out. But then when you do that, what water do you put in? Straight RO. Here I go back with the water. What water?
Yeah.
Because we know that the last time I did this, that from the get-go, my water was too hard and the eggs were not even viable from the get-go. Well, this time they should be viable, but...
So did you watch any of the video that Keeping Fish Simple did, or Fish Keeping Simple, on the killifish eggs that he had mailed to him? Did you watch any of that video?
No.
Okay, the only reason I'm asking is because these were certain killifish. He had gotten 3 different types of killifish, and they were mailed to him in a bag of peat moss that the eggs were attached to. And so he wanted to try this system of being able to put them into a little tub like he does and hatch out the eggs. Two of the egg samples hatched, and he put those in tanks. The other one didn't. But he had mentioned something about some killifish that are the egg scatterers that sometimes, because of where they live at, is they'll lay their eggs and that little water system will dry up.
Yeah.
And then it'll fill back up, and possibly the eggs will hatch.
Yeah.
If the conditions are right, but it may dry out again, and then it may be 4 months later that the eggs will hatch.
That's what I've heard too. And in fact, some of them can incubate for like a year. Like they can be dormant, and then you put them in water and they hatch.
So that makes me wonder, in your situations, Jess, maybe it's something like that, to where the eggs are dormant and the water conditions just aren't right for them to hatch. And if you don't wait however long that they could actually come out of dormancy.
Like, I know the blue galaris are at least 6 weeks. But I know there are people that have also hatched them in tanks.
Are they the exception, or because every time I hear about the annuals, it's always like let them lay their eggs in peat and then take the peat out and kind of squeeze it out and then let it sit
now
2 months or so.
What peat? Because I heard the other day, don't buy the peat from the Home Depot. And I'm like, okay, well, then what peat is it? Now, it's supposed to be organic. I got organic peat, but it's not supposed to be bought from there. It's supposed to be...
You know what? People say that because they'll think that like a certain type of something has extra ingredients in it, or else they just don't want to risk it because they think maybe it's got extra fertilizer in it or something like that. So I mean, I would really just like whatever one you buy, just look into it. If it's 100% organic peat, that's what it is. It's kind of that silicone 1 versus silicone 2 debate, where in reality, both of them cure inert and they're fine. It's just the silicone 2 takes longer. And so most people mess up by putting water in it before it cures. I ordered 100% organic peat from Amazon. Let me see which one I got.
They can be water incubated. I have also hatched one killie that did incubate for 1 year. Oh,
nice.
Well, okay, so I got them in RO water, just like I do my gardener eye. So right here are my gardener eye, and I actually have live babies in there. Double reds, I've got a few babies in there. And then here's my blue Galaris. And they're in it. And I got the date that I put them in there. I need to add some water, but there were 40 plus eggs that I put in here.
Oh, they laid eggs on my birthday. How nice.
But
we need Scotty the fish freak. Where is he? He's got the killifish knowledge.
yeah, so anyway, that's what I've got him in.
What's the temperature like?
Room temp. So they're probably 70 something.
Jennifer Weaver wants to know, are they eyeing up?
Are they what?
Eyeing up? I think that means like, can you look in them and see that they've got some eyes up in there? Like,
Now, I'm going to say that when I put them in there were actually some that looked like there were eyes sort of maybe coming to fruition there. But I haven't opened it to look at it again. The water's 76, just sitting there. And I will have to, like, I thought when I put them in there that I there should be some hatching any day. Because I took so long to pick them from the mops. Like, that was the first time I had picked the eggs from the blue Galaris, and they'd probably been in their tank for 2 months. So, and at that time there were 2 females, and now there's just 1 female, but she's full of eggs.
I'm not very good with finding eggs and pulling them and then doing all of that stuff.
I think
And
it's
so
fun.
that's why with the clown killifish, it was one of those things that I know that in general, a lot of people pull the eggs and separate them and blah, blah, blah. Well, for one, I'm a little bit colorblind, so trying to find the eggs is a bit of a challenge anyways. So it's more about, for me, I chose these killifish because I truly believe that it's something that, if done right, yes, you can put them in there, leave them alone, and they'll start producing. And for me, that's a very keep it triple type of mentality. I don't want to get into the point where I'm pulling eggs, adding methylene blue, trying to document and how long, what I'm feeding, blah, blah. That's just too much work, and I can't do it. If I am going to do it, I'm going to put all of that work and effort into my shrimp.
right.
So, Audrey Meyer found a single blue galar fry last night. So, how do you do yours, Audrey? Pepin, Petroman. Well, we start talking about killies and different people come out.
Right.
Yep. Where are the hardcore experts?
Right.
So Alishon said he gave Joel a heads up that you might contact him, expert breeder.
Joel?
Do you know who he's talking about?
I probably
Joel, the expert breeder. Yeah.
He probably sent me an email a while back. I don't remember.
Hey there, Shelby.
Hey, Shelby. How do I get in touch with Joel?
Maybe he'll show up in the morning show.
Send me another one, please. Brian. It's Tippy Hippie.
Yeah, like I said, right now I'm really trying to focus in on the nano fish that we have at the shop and get them separated into these nano tanks. So the CPDs are the other ones that we have that I would really like to try to get into breeding, but I think those are a little bit more labor intensive than.
Ooh, have fun. I tried them.
See, I like Audra Meyer's approach. Just let nature take its course. That's
Well,
what I'm hoping. I want colony breeding to much as
Yeah.
possible.
Okay, so you just let nature take. So what is your TDS in your tank? So I was told that the Bugalaris would eat their young if they see them. And I mean, I push the food to mine. Mine are fat. But still, I think that because they eat baby brown shrimp, if they seen anything itty bitty, they would eat it. They would know that it was a baby fish.
Yeah. Did you see what Jennifer Weaver said as well? The aquarium strain of the blue Galaris has been found to have fertility issues. Do you know the source of yours?
I came off Aquavid.
Maybe it just matters from what seller.
Chris Howell, good morning.
Good morning, Sherry.
So anyway, yeah, I'm like, I want them so bad, and I'm trying to find out what
Good morning, Chris.
to do and how to do it and to do it right. And it's driving me crazy.
And that's again, Jess, that's really the big entire method that I use. I had to boil it down to something about just keeping it as simple as possible, because you can get overwhelmed with information. You can get overwhelmed with trying things and going the wrong direction, not even knowing it. And then it kind of makes you go backwards instead of forwards in the knowledge that you're gaining. So learning nature and keeping it simple, and kind of like what Steven says in his song about learning the chemistry of your water, try to keep it as simple as possible. And if you can make it to where nature does the work for you, I think you're much better off than if you're manually manipulating every step of the process, because then you have to do it that way, the same way every single time. And that's very hard to do in nature. Does that make sense?
But with the TDS that comes out of Jess's tank,
I have to.
You got to do some manipulate. I mean, it's RO water, and then
yeah, and that's what I mean. Like with my clown killifish, that's what I did. As I put in RO water, I'd only remineralize it to about 50 TDS, and then I leave it alone. You know, do my water maintenance. If water gets cloudy, I'll pull some out, put some more in, but not as far as being hands-on, hands in the tank, moving stuff around, pulling out eggs, etc., adding chemicals, methylene blue. I've heard people do that. They'll add methylene blue to the tank.
I quit adding methylene blue to everything.
So, you know, all of that stuff, like I said, if you can let nature do it, and that's why I've chosen the species that I have, because they're a lot easier when you have as many aquariums and strains and types of fish and shrimp and plants. As long as you keep it simple, it's easier, at least for me.
But you're still manipulating, because you're starting with RO and then adding.
It's easier to keep it more consistent if you start with RO versus trying to buffer down your water.
And my thinking of that is that when it rains outside, it's not getting tap water with chlorine and all this stuff. It's getting water that's just nothing, you know, it's pure water. So same thing with RO water. And that's how I look at it, is that when I do a top off or a water change, it's like a nice fresh rain coming into nature and feeding the streams or ponds or rivers or lakes or wherever they live. They can handle that fluctuation. They do it in nature every day. They handle that fluctuation. So
pH fluctuations are not a big
Yeah.
deal as long as they're within, stay in range of what the fish can tolerate. That
I
your
got
dog?
chatty dogs over here.
Wait, where did you send it to Maine's or to the Aquatic Morning Show? Which one?
He said he sent you a message on Facebook months ago. So
Facebook.
Yeah. Good morning, Mick T. Or afternoon in the UK. The Jill A is with ACLC. Scotty knows him well, as do I. From February 24th, if that helps. When he sent it to you. Well,
maybe not.
You might have to dig through a lot of messages then.
Yeah. Could you send it again? Sorry.
Good morning, Skipper.
Hey, so yeah, Skipper. Oh, Skipper, where the heck are you at? What's your
sleeping
excuse?
in? Let him sleep. It's his day off, right?
Well, that's all fine and good, but when he says he's going to be here.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's here.
Hello, Skipper.
Yep. Well.
And I'll be here tomorrow too. I have an 8:30 a.m. meeting. Don't know why someone decided to do that, but yeah.
That's early for you.
It's pretty early, but it should end around 9-ish, so good timing. Skipper got a little drunk last night.
Oh.
Hey, I was wondering something if anybody's noticed. I went to Petco the other day looking at their nano tanks, and I noticed that the 2.5 rimless and the 5.5 rimless are both $34.99. Is that the same with you guys? Have you noticed that?
Well, I don't ever go anywhere, but
I just thought it was interesting because I want a bunch of, like I said, I want about 10 2.5 gallons and then some more 5.5 gallons. But I was looking at it, I was like, well, it costs the same to get a 5.5 gallon as a 2.5 gallon. So wouldn't I want to get a 5.5 gallon at the same price? Bigger aquarium, quote unquote, same price.
I mean, I certainly would.
Oh, Alashon, that's when we were talking about Rosario. Okay.
You must have found the email.
Yeah, found it. Well, he sent me another one, and then I went back and looked. So I think somebody's wanting to get in, and if they would have answered their email, they could have came in on their own.
Wow. At least I shut it up the last 15 minutes. I don't want to hear it.
Just a little bit hungover.
Actually, I had a very crazy day yesterday with EMT calls and stuff. It was crazy. With the ambulance calls. Sorry, I'm not an EMT.
Drive the ambulance.
Yeah.
Ambulance.
I drive the ambulance.
The
Ambulance.
Golly, I can't remember. Oh, I told y'all that story, right? Of me being when I was working at the bank, and we had this lady that used to come in and clean for us, and then she'd come in right at the end, right before 6, and start cleaning, and something happened or whatever, and she started running throughout the building. We need to call the ambulance. The ambulance. Call the ambulance. Not call 911. Not nothing else. Not she pick up the phone and call. Somebody call the ambulance. The ambulance.
I mess with people at work that call it the ambulance. What are you talking about? It's for you whiny baby.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Oh, Oh,
Oh yeah, nice to see you
Ooh.
too,
This
Doctor.
guy's on. I'm leaving.
I wanted to call you, but I didn't want to bother you down there.
Fish Central and Brennan also came in, and Debbie Holding has been in here, and Miss Audrey Meyer. Oh wait, temp is 76, pH is 7. Have not tasted the GH. Have not tested the GH and KH in a while. I'll be honest.
Tastes like a lot of magnesium in there.
Doc, if this guy is on, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Well, my temp is 76. pH is usually around 7, and there should be no TDSs because they're in RO water.
Whipster.
I got a little drunk last night. Ain't that a song?
Yeah. Fish Central is asking me any tips on breeding and selling fish. I'm
Right.
like the most casual fish breeder and seller there is. So yeah, if you're actually trying to make money, don't listen to me.
Misfit's sitting on the side of the road somewhere.
What?
Sitting on the side of the road at the moment. Truck battery took a crap.
Oh
Now
no.
I'm stuck 3.5 hours from home.
Whips World.
No.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
Fun.
wait a minute.
Oh my gosh, John Oliver, there was something I needed to ask you, and I forgot. Dadgummit. Somebody asked me to ask you something. I forgot what it was.
I bet it was
They asked
guppy
me to
related.
ask. Boy, they messed up. All things fish, what's up?
You the stranger. We ain't no strangers.
Right? Okay. All right, you guys. Guess what?
That's what.
Mm-hmm. Hold on. I'm working on it.
Only have WhatsApp.
Oh, who? What?
The doc.
Oh.
All right, Glock. Got to get up out of his bed. Got to brush his fangs and find something to wear.
I love the beginning of that. Ding. Good addition.
Yeah, it's good. Ting.
Okay. All right. I love the first part, but then that elevator music sucks. And then I like the end music. We got to
Tell us how
listen
you feel, Jess.
to the elevator music.
Having a day.
I will help. Well, I would help. I am having a problem uploading from the Wondershare, which I have not had any issues with whatsoever. And the last thing I uploaded was the other day, but I'm trying to upload a video now and it won't convert. It won't do the conversions before it sends it.
No.
And I don't know why. Don't know why.
Right on, Dee Dee. She says, too bad.
I told you I'd help. The elevated music. Got to do that music at the end. Let's do that all the way through.
Yeah, that'll wake you up.
Dee Dee, you did a good job.
Well, she did, except for the elevator music. Something with the elevator music. We're trying to keep people upbeat. We ain't trying to put them to sleep. See, he was trying to wake them up, but you know,
It worked for me.
Listen, I was in jazz band for years. I am a connoisseur of elevator music.
No. Oh, okay. We got one more thing.
Oh, hell.
To do. We got the Thursday lineup. Wait, do you want to continue receiving messages from the sender?
Who is the sender?
Dee Dee.
Oh.
Why wouldn't I? Oh my gosh. Why is it asking me that? How freaking weird. I've never seen that before.
Dee Dee spamming you?
Yeah, I made
Right,
fun
dirty
of the. I guess it made fun of the elevator music, and now it's asking if I still want to get emails from her. See, they're always listening.
A little bit too closely.
Yeah. My phone goes off several times a day, thinking I'm talking to it. I'm not.
Okay, everybody, stay tuned. Have we got something for you? Happy birthday, Pam, of Punchy Paints and Patrick Hardy. Now for the Thursday live streams at Eastern Standard Time. Stay tuned. And we start off the morning with Blake's Aquatics at 5 a.m. That's right. Rise and shine, everyone. And next is the Aquatic Morning Show at 10 on Main's Tails, Fur and Fin. That's Jess and the crew. Next up is Rico's Stand, Afternoon Chat Live at 12:15 p.m. Then we have Misfit Reptiles and Aquatics at 2 p.m. for the pop-up stream. It's Pet Sotics at 5. Yes, Diego. And we have Dream Fish Keeping at 6. That's Jake. All aboard for the Hot Mess Express on Foxy's Fishes at 7 with Foxy, Mary, and Dee Dee. There's John and Lisa, K2 Tropicals at 8. Is Thursday Night Fever on Fish Room Fever with James and Chattanooga Ed. At 10:30 is Craft Ed on Chattanooga Ed's channel with James and Rika Stan. Last up at 11:45 is Rico and the Man with Rico Stan, Chattanooga Ed and James. And that concludes Thursday Night Lineup. And look, Wazoo, thanks for making this information easy to find at fishfam.link and Lefty32138. Thanks for your live stream calendar on your side as well.
Fishy Mon, quit trying to suck up.
Good job, Dee Dee.
Let's give her trying to get you one too. I don't
Except
think it's
not.
I think pissing her off.
their birthdays though.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. That might have just been
think-
left in there from the couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I just went and checked that while that was playing. I'm like, wait.
But I mean, the gist of the schedule.
Hey,
is,
they can be like Aquafunk.
Speaking of kissing butt, look what's in your hand.
You can't see it.
I can see it.
Mm-mm.
Huh?
Where? I can't see it.
I said, speaking of kissing butt, look what's in your hand.
There ain't nothing in my hand.
Oh my God.
Cup?
What, you can't freaking read or what?
Never mind. What's at the other? What else is at the end of that word that you said that I normally do in between breaks?
But
Uh-huh.
you're going to be forever associated with your butt.
No.
Yes. It's in the videos. It's in the little break. It's like, we don't see your face, and people are going to be like, I don't know that woman. Turn around. Oh, I recognize that butt.
Well, hey. As long as it's a nice butt to look at, I guess.
Aquatic morning show. Aquatic morning show.
Aquatic morning show. Great job, Dee Dee.
Go, Dee Dee.
Eric Lyrock, what's up? Good morning. All right. Well, you guys, it's been fun. It's been fun. And go get you one of these and fill it full of substrate and try it out and tell us what you think. You don't know what we're talking about, do you, Skipper?
I don't like them.
You don't know what we're talking about. You don't even know what we talking about.
You're talking about a freaking filter for your tank. I know what that thing is.
You don't know what we're talking about.
I don't care. I don't like it.
No, he was up the whole time listening. He just decided to enter chat like 15 minutes before we ended.
Right?
No, actually, I have no idea what you're talking about.
And we just got $5 from Eric.
Whoop whoop. Yeah. So thank you for the $5 super sticker, super chat, and the 99-cent super sticker from Joe Stan earlier. Thank you so much. And we'll be back tomorrow, you guys, as usual. Some of the crew will be here. Not sure who all will be here, but we'll be here. Somebody will be here.
I'll be back to work.
Just like that. Oh, no, Jennifer Weaver, girl, I've been all over LRB's stuff, and I've tried to talk to him directly, and no. Don't answer me. Don't answer my questions. And I've tried doing it that way, and when I did it that way is when we found out that they were not good from the beginning because my TDSs made them calcified. And that was one of the things I was trying to get answered by him, but he's just too busy. So, but yeah, I did try that route. Oh, well. Maybe I can hem him down at Dallas. Maybe.
You corner him.
Yeah. Pin him down. You're going to talk to me about this and answer
We
my
can all
question.
surround him.
Yeah.
Him and Sarah. And they'll
Yeah.
be like, watch out.
Right? All right, everybody. It's been another day here at the Aquatic Morning Show. Thank you guys for being here, and thanks for chat and all the replay crew and the lurkers. We love you guys. See you tomorrow.
It's a live bever mosh pit. So watch it, don't knock it, drop and fry every day, ain't gon' stop it. People saying hey and whoa and take it slow, it's out of control, but they don't know I got a mother-loving biome. Nature! So leave it alone, they're doing fine in a happy home. Making babies with their fathers and mothers and sisters and brothers is kinda gross, but you know that's the way it goes. Now I'm in the midst of a colony blitz. It all started with a batch of fry. The mama died, but the baby survived and grew up and thrived. Then the guppies kicked the breeding into overdrive. What was accidental and incremental blew up into an exponential and totally mental experimental hit. And the fish police threw a fit. I guess they just couldn't handle my live bearer mosh pit. Best not front on me about this company, 'cause you can't spell guppy without that one and only G. You might think from this rhyme that I'm mucking up guppy lines. Ain't got no crooked spine or time to hear you whine. Talk the fish police. I'm making hybrids I desire to acquire and combine entire lines designed to inspire and surprise and advertise the rise of my monkey fighting live bearer empire. You looking all distraught, you think it's overstocked, but you got no shot to sway me, you're an afterthought. Yeah, I got guppies getting blitzed on duckweed. Had enough of these, well they don't stop and neither do we. You might call it a challenge, it's a foot per gallon. Your rationale is sound, but it's a little unfounded, 'cause I'm gonna be crowned as the best flippin' mud guppy breeder around. On this earth, and my mutts, I assert, are gonna make you a convert to a chaotic tank that doesn't take much effort or the hand of an expert. Look, all I did was rap and 5 guppies just gave birth. Best not front on me about this company, 'cause you can't spell guppy without that one and only G. You might think from this rhyme that I'm mucking up guppy lines. Ain't got no crooked spines or time to hear you whine, 'cause you best not front on me about this company, 'cause you can't spell guppy without that one and only G. If you wanna do like I do, fertilize the plants with fish food, don't fret about being overrun, just chill and have some fun. I got the new genetics for the color theoretics, a different aesthetic. It's cosmetic and frenetic. If you don't get it, I do. I got a vision, it's eidetic. And your derision, well, it's really quite pathetic. Uh-oh. Now you see a bunch of platies, they're looking fatty. You think it's fatty, and the plants are overgrown, getting kinda ratty. It's alright, little laddie, just look me in the eye and tell me who's your daddy. Best not front on me about this company, 'cause you can't spell guppy without that one and only G. You might think from this rhyme that I'm mucking up guppy lines. Ain't got no crooked spines or time to hear you whine, 'cause you best not front on me about this company, 'cause you can't spell guppy without that one and only G. If you wanna do like I do, fertilize the plants with fish food, don't fret about being overrun, just chill and have some fun. Yeah. You think I give a fudge about some algae? What, you afraid of shiznit getting too natural up in this biznatch? Good sir, dispose of your TDS meter, for it measures organic and inorganic solids, and it's more beneficial to learn the chemistry of your water. Thank you very much. If you wanna do like I do, fertilize the plants with fish food, don't fret about being overrun, just chill and have some fun.